Hey, happy Homebrew Wednesday! Thanks for tuning in again, guys. So today I am bottling up my strong stout. Here it is. There we go, look. Crown caps. Cooper's crown caps. Loads of those. I've got 35 bottles of that. So that's the stout that came out 8.2%. That was a Cooper's stout kit, a Cooper's draft kit, and then various fermentable sugars and dry hopped with Challenger as well. So, if you remember from last Homebrew Wednesday, I said I was going to do an experiment to try and get a Brewdog style super beer by freeze concentrating a beer. Now I've done this with apple cider before, hard apple cider, but I've never done it with beer before, so this is my experiment. So I've got my bottles. Let's go and have a look. Okay, so here are the bottles. As you can see, I've got 1.5 litres. I'm hoping to get about 500 millilitres of the test brew. That's going to come out probably around about 25%. But this is no good. Look, I need these bottles frozen. Let's do that right now. Bing! There we go. Great. That was a lot easier than having to wait 24 hours for them to freeze. Right. Let's get these drained. Bing! Great. There we go. So, they're in there. 2 bottles is 1.5 litres of beer. And, we'll ping now. Let's ping to the end. Ping! Right, so here we are at the end of the super beer experiment. And here is the resulting brew, the beer, freeze concentrated down. So I started out with a stout, that I'll show you in a second, of 8.2%. I froze 1.5 litres of the brew, and I have 500 mils of this concentrated brew. So, by that rationale, I can only assume that this is 3 times as strong as it started out. It's going to be about in the region of 25%, something along those lines. So, let's give it a try. Here's a little shot. Looks like a tiny espresso or something, doesn't it? Or a miniature pint of Guinness, maybe. There's a lot of aroma to it. A lot of coffee. $17. Ooh. Bloody know it. It's like an espresso. That's what it's like. It's mental. It tastes like an espresso coffee. An alcoholic espresso coffee. It looks like an espresso coffee. Mental. You know what? I thought I'd put a bit much molasses into the stout that I made. I put in, I think it was 500 grams I put in. And tasting the stout after it had been fermented, I thought, it's a little too much darkness on the molasses there. But you know what? This wouldn't taste like an espresso coffee without all that molasses in it. I like that. That's really good. Let's have a look at the stout that I made to get to this point. Okay, so we've seen the end product from the super beer experiment, and I'm going to show you now a bottle of the beer that I used to make it. I've called it Storm Crow, and it's an 8.2% strong stout. So let's have a look at one of the bottles. Bing! There it is! How cool is that? Look, see? There's the label that I've made. And you'll notice it's crown capped. It's a plastic bottle, but it's got the crown cap on it. I got that from Ashley, one of my subscribers. Thank you very much again for that. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to combine the second part of the mulled cider video with this video. So let's have a look at the mulled cider as well. Bing! And there it is! Cool! My wife's decided to call it Rudolph's Revenge, and it's 10.8% ABV. And what I've done with this one is it's been fermented with just some dextrose, or I use granulated sugar. We put in mulling spices, and it was transferred to secondary. It took a good number of weeks. I think it's maybe about 5 weeks by this point. To sweeten it, I back sweetened it, so I put in the sodium metabisulfate and potassium sorbate to stop the fermentation. But rather than just putting whole sugars into it, just granulated sugars, what I decided to do was I wanted flavour in there as well as sweetness. So I've taken some concentrated apple juice and I've boiled that down, just a litre of concentrated apple juice, boiled it down to remove some of the water, which gave me a thin apple syrup, if you like. And then I added that in secondary to the cider, which has not only given it a little bit of sweetness, but has also increased the apple flavour as well. So it's really good. Great. Cheers. Thanks for watching. See you next time.